Okay, this is Case 10, Wimm-Bill-Dann, presented by Sean O'Flynn, Colin Jenkins, Stephan Colin, Craig Lamoureux, and Heather Foster. Wimm-Bill-Dann's corporate level strategy is focused on expansion. This is evident from their increase in market share and growing presence in Russia and eventually into Eastern European countries. This is aligned with their corporate mission, which is to have a production base in every economically developed region in Russia. Their business level strategy, according to Porter's generic strategies, is cost leadership. Wimm-Bill-Dann has a broad industry scope, offering beverages such as beer, milk, and juice products. On the other axis, Wimm-Bill-Dann is focused on low cost, overproduction uniqueness, with the exception of their healthcare drink line, Neo. This is because the price sensitivity of consumers and the effect changes in disposable income have on market growth. According to Wimm-Bill-Dann, most of the products are positioned by price and not distinctive qualities. However, their Neo line is priced 25% above retail average, but it is also marketed to those with higher incomes.
Okay, so next we will discuss the strategy methods that were used by Wimm-Bill-Dann. First of all, they started out with organic development, basically meaning Wimm-Bill-Dann continued to build on the organization's juice-producing capabilities, and this was exemplified during the 2000 to 2003 period when Wimm-Bill-Dann held annual growth between 25 to 40% of the juice market. However, after several years solely in the production of juices, Wimm-Bill-Dann sought to expand their business into new areas, and this was due to high internal development costs, and therefore Wimm-Bill-Dann chose to expand via acquisitions, which is the process of acquiring other organizations, which in turn allowed Wimm-Bill-Dann to instantly enter a new market. This further provided access to crucial industry knowledge and distribution networks, and it also allowed Wimm-Bill-Dann to have a competitive position within the industry by virtue of their takeovers. However, there are some cautionary notes with this type of approach. First of all, acquiring already established organizations can become a costly venture if expansion is solely based on this method, which Wimm-Bill-Dann ultimately found out. And second, can the two corporate cultures of the different organizations come together to realize the full potential of the acquisition? And for Wimm-Bill-Dann, the rapid growth through acquisitions led to reduced profitability in 2003.
So the first metric we're going to use to measure performance is the balanced scorecard. Now, I'm just going to take the mouse here, and you'll notice that I've made the measures column a different color because that's where the main emphasis is. So with the four categories along the top here and the four categories going down here, if you follow the mouse, their strategic priority financially is to be financially sound, and their objective is to increase profits and their market share. So a leading metric will be sales forecasts. So based on the way that they performed in the past, and according to page 777, they have a bunch of different figures. And with those forecasts, we're going to be able to see how they're going to do in the future. And then later on, we'll see the feedback, how well they actually did, which is going to be a lagging metric. Now again, we're going to look at the ROI and the net margin. And their targets financially should be 3% profit growth per year. Now, the next one is customer priority. According to the case, in Wimm-Bill-Dann, they weren't able to get any loyalty from customers. Customers were indifferent from where they were going for their products, so their objective should be to increase the amount of repeat business. Because if you have repeat clientele, you're going to be a more successful company. So to do this, one of their leading metrics should be to align with consumer trends. They should be doing market research to find out what's happening, what their consumers want, where they're spending their money, and how much they're willing to spend. And then the lagging component to that would be consumer feedback. How well did they actually do? How well did they actually do their research and the results that were produced as a result? And the target should be 5% growth per year. Now, internally, their priority should be to ensure longevity. to make sure the business is doing well over the long term. And the way that we can look at this, their objective is to grow faster than their competitors and to make sure that they're cost effective. So make sure that their warehouse doesn't have very much inventory so that they're not throwing away money. Perhaps find some ways to be more efficient as well. And some of their measures will be the new product return on investment. Now that is a lagging. We can also look at their activity cost versus competitors. So did they have to pay more for their resources or do they pay less? And we should also look at whether or not they can get a better price. And the productivity level as well. And their target should be 3% annual growth on their return on investment. Now for learning and growth, this in itself is a leading sort of thing. And it's continual innovation and professional development. As we all know, technology evolves over time and we get better and better at doing what we do. So they need to make sure they're at the forefront of this. So they have to develop new products for consumers. And this goes back to aligning with consumer trends and develop new products to reflect that. Continuous programs to train the employees to make sure that they know what they're doing and that they're at the top of their field. And some of the measures will be the number of new product initiatives per year and development of learning strategies and plans. So their target should be 5 products per year and to go to 2 to 6 seminars per year. This will ensure that they're at the very top of their game.
The next metric we decided to use was benchmarking. For internal, we decided that it would be appropriate to use internal comparisons from year to year, such as market share percentage. Market share percentage will show that they are expanding in their current markets. And another example we decided to use was inventory turnover. Inventory turnover will show that Wimm-Bill-Dann is continuing to be profitable despite supplying more of the market. For external competitors, we decided to use their direct competitors. An example of this is in their juice market. Their direct competitors are Nadan, Lebedinask, and Molten. For indirect competitors, we feel it will be appropriate for them to benchmark Pepsi and Coke.
With metric 3, number 3 being their financial, in terms of measuring the financial metric itself, when reviewing the provided data in Exhibit 3, their gross profit has shown a visible steady increase every year since 2003, with a large positive jump from 2005 to 2006 by $172.4 million. In terms of their operating income, this is also following the same exponential trend as the gross profit did, with their financial improvement of $68.1 million in that 1 year. Their net income itself, is being based off their previous results, has dramatically improved in 2005 and 2006, with a net income increase of $65.1 million. This alone is nearly the sum of the 3 previous years combined, resulting in a nearly 200% growth over the 5-year span. All in all, these positive shifts will help align finances for further growth and expansion.
And we'd like to thank you very much for watching.